Thank you. The topic we are going to discuss is the general introduction to four schools of Buddhist philosophy and the way to practice them in day-to-day life. So first of all, what makes you a Buddhist and what does not make you a Buddhist? So that can be a question for all of us. Just keep in your mind. That's all. And then the second one, like I will start with these questions and then I will talk some on some important things what I feel. So the second one, why there are many different schools within Buddhism. Yeah. So that two basic questions you just keep in your mind. If you will find the answer for that, that's good. If you don't find the answer from here today, that is also fine, right? Then this is the starting point today, okay? The question. Then we will start with the teachings of the Buddha. So I think most of you know Buddha. Buddha was born in India to a royal family, and after some times he found this life, born, then grow up, then old, then sick. So this kind of circling life is not so interesting because of many reasons. So we will not go for the history of the Buddha, but and then he started searching like what is there, is there any way to find a way go beyond this circular life. Yeah. And then historically he became Buddha. So how he became Buddha, that we will discuss. But after becoming Buddha, he gave teachings. So that will be the introduction, that today. So historically, he gave teachings for 3 times. The first one, the name of the teaching is called Dharma Chakra. So actually, any teaching you can call Dharma Chakra. So the first one is Dharma Chakra. So that time he mainly talked about Four Noble Truths. Yeah. So that he gave teaching in Saranath, Varanasi, that is a city in India, central India, we can say. And then after that, so that time he gave teachings on the Four Noble Truths, but the second time he gave teaching at the Rajagriha. So the Rajagriha is the place, now it is close to the Bodh Gaya now. So there he gave teaching, but that teaching was completely different. So that teaching is called Pranja Paramita teaching. So the Pranja is the wisdom, and Para is the other side of the life, or other side of the samsara, or other side of this unsatisfied life. And then Ita, so Pranja Para Ita. So the Ita means to go. So going other side of the life, this life, which is not so, you know, interesting. I mean, like the life which is always there is always kind of unsatisfied feelings, right? So that teaching is called Pranjaparamita teaching. So that time he talked about the pranja. Pranja is the wisdom. Wisdom is the understanding of the true nature of existence, or true nature of the life, you can say. So there he talked about like, you know, shunyata, and then the farm is the shunyata is the farm, you know, like the farm, whatever you see is not real, you know. So then his disciples had a confusion, had many questions, and then they asked him, before you gave first teaching in Varanasi, you said everything is real, you know, like external things are real, and you must be careful, you have to follow this rule, that rule, and many things. And but here you are saying like everything is empty, everything is not real. So we are confused. We don't understand. And then he tried to keep explaining, tried to answer for these questions. Why he say differently to different, you know, at different places. So that explanation or the answer is the third teaching. You know, first he answered for this question at Vaishali, that place. So that teaching is called Sandhi Nimochana. So Sandhi Nimochana, the literal, like, you know, this is a Sanskrit term, but basically explanation. You know, the meaning Sandhi Nimochana means explanation. Okay, so first teaching and second teaching, there is a contradiction, and then okay, now the explanation for the first teaching and second teaching, and that one is the third teaching. So historically we have these three teachings. Yeah. So to know these three things are important, I feel. So now we are talking about four schools of Buddhist philosophy, right? The first teaching, the disciples, they are kind of beginners, you know, like ordinary, and they don't understand what is non-duality and what is emptiness and all of these things. For them, it's important to start from kind of a basic level. But the main purpose of giving teaching is make them to feel more relaxed, more happy, and more comfortable, right? So then, why are you not comfortable? You know, are you happy or are you not happy? So this must be the question. Yeah. So basically, people are not so happy or not satisfied. One thing is desire. You have a desire you want to achieve something, and but you cannot get whatever you want, right? So for that, you must understand what is there outside. Yeah. For that, you must know, like, you know, if you have an attachment or if you have a desire to something, what is there? it is real or it is not real. So that is one important thing. So from the first teaching, the Buddha talks about impermanent. So impermanent is the main kind of idea or wisdom that you can make people a little bit more happier, right? So when you have a desire or attachment to something, if you have a little bit this a sense of impermanent, changing, more or less your desire can reduce. For example, if you have a desire for for some beautiful things, if you have a desire for the flower, and then at the same time you have okay, this flower is not permanent, one day it become dry or it will be died, more or less you can have less desire. So the first teaching talks more about impermanent, but the second one, things are, when you talk about that is the basic idea, okay? So you can keep in your mind that impermanent. The second one, so when we say pranja paramita, pranja, the wisdom is knowing the emptiness, knowing the shunyata. So there are lots of explanation for the shunyata, but shunyata means things are not independent, so let's say you have a desire, and because of the desire you feel unhappy, you feel not good, right? But if you have a view that things are dependent, things are not independent, so that is the meaning of shunyata, right? But usually we have a view that things are independent, and because of that we develop the desire, right? So if I show you like these two, this is big, and it's it's depend. When I show you this is big or this is big, so you suddenly see this is big and this is small. The pen is small, the phone is big. But if I show you only this one, you have like a view, like independent kind of view. But things arise, things appears to you dependently. So big is not big always, small is not small always. Like when there is a bigger one, it becomes small. When there is a small one, it becomes bigger. So whenever you say he is so painful or she is very bad, it is not really bad from herself or himself. It's depend. When you develop this wisdom, this pranja, you can have a more joyful kind of feeling. You don't really have a hatred, you don't have really desire, because okay, things are depend, right? So that kind of dependent origination is called. Yeah? So that is called shunyata. So you're supposed to develop this kind of understanding for everything. When you have this wisdom, everything is figure outable. Nothing is, difficult. Nothing is serious. So that is more profound. So he was talking about that one, like a little bit developed his idea, more than talking about impermanent. Like you suffer not because of you are seeing things permanent and then you will be shocked, but you are seeing things are independent, and then actually things are not independent, things are dependent, and then again you suffer. So that is his the changing of the teaching. Yeah. So for people, okay, if you can have really impermanent kind of view, somehow you will be more happy. And then if you develop this wisdom again, you will feel more good, right? But when you talk about the dependent origination, like object is dependent on the subject, yeah. Subject is dependent on the object. You cannot really say that object is real. So then there is a little bit of contradiction from the first teaching and second teaching. When he explained for these two teachings, and then that the school of Yogacara, or the second school, second idea developed. Okay, for some people this kind of idea is good to practice, and for some people, if you say things are things are dependently arising, they have no capacity to develop this kind of wisdom. And then because of their mood or because of their capacity, I was giving advice to them according to their capacity. But it doesn't mean you cannot develop your wisdom more than thinking about impermanent or like this. So there he divided into few categories. Things are. Then from his explanation, the idea of non-duality is developed. Okay. So there, the idea which is called Yogacara school, things are not really independent, but things are more mental projection. Like for example, if you had a very good day, you come back to home and then you have maybe cake, maybe pizza, the same pizza, the vegetarian pizza. Yeah. So you feel very good, and then tomorrow you go for work and you have very bad day, and then you come back and then again you have same that vegetarian pizza. It's not good at all. The pizza is same, but because of your mind, because of your mood, because of your like day or whatever, that you feel differently on same food. So that applies for everything. Sometimes you can see something very good and sometimes you can see something very bad. It is not really because of they are bad or they are good. It's because of your mood, your it's basically because of you. So that kind of idea, the people who are practicing this and try to control their emotion. So the third teaching content these kind of ideas, how you practice. There are lots of things to tell, but as an introduction, I think it's maybe good enough. Yeah. Then we talk about a little bit about the four schools now. The first school is called Vaibhashika. When Buddha teach first, Buddha used to teach the Dharma. His disciple, that is called Theravada, but within Theravada there are two. One is Vaibhashika. So what really this school practice? mainly it's before the Buddha, there are also a lot of practices, but main change, non-Buddhist or non-Buddhism or Buddhism, the main thing is, okay, when you practice what you are doing, you are trying to find joy within you, but the problem is, once you have a sense of you, this is me and this is mine, Buddha found that is a problem. That is a problem. Once you have a kind of selfish thinking, and then always there's a problem. If something, somebody is not giving something to you, you have a problem, right? If somebody is taking something from you, you have a problem. The main problem is you have a feeling that you feel so strong yourself, right? But that feeling is a reliable or reasonable feeling or logical, or it is just you just feel it. So that is a question. So when you look at you, try to find you are really not there, till now nobody found themselves. We just randomly, generally we say I'm here, but okay, you are here on the chair, you search yourself, right? And you cannot find. This is interesting because everybody say I'm here, but if you look at you and trying to find you, and you cannot find. So Atma and Anatma, so the self and the non-self, so that is the difference between Buddhist and the non-Buddhist. So Buddhist or the Buddha, the Shakyamuni Buddha, found that there is no really, the self is not there. So when you feel, not intellectually you say self is not there, but when you feel the self is not real there, and then you always feel peaceful. Nothing is problem. So the Vaibhashika school mainly like half, It's funny because the Vaibhashika school say self is half, like 50% permanent and 50% is impermanent, like not real. So we can discuss about this later, but so there they developed the non-self. So that kind of school is called Vaibhashika, the following the Buddha and practicing the non-self, selflessness. And then after some times the practitioners or follower of the Buddha develop that more and more, right? So they have more reasons to practice that non-self, selflessness. So there somewhere, these two schools, there's no much difference. But the second one, Swatrantika, that is more kind of practitioners who really have a reason that there is no self. So that is called the follower of the Buddha's sutras. So these two are the Theravada schools. And then the third one, the Yogacara, of course they all practice impermanent and then selflessness, but the Yogacharas, they practice more non-duality, like things are mental projection, right? So that kind of school is called Yogacara school. So Yogacara, yoga is the practice, or yoga actually the union, right? Chara means using or practicing or joining. So when you say main point, so okay, external things are not the thing, I must look into my mind, so that kind of practitioners are called yogachara. Yeah? So who can really see that things are not real, things are not external object, things are more in my mind, in my habituation. So that is yogachara. And then they're developed, but for them the mind is still real, that yogachara. But after 2nd century, the master called Nagarjuna, he wrote a text and explained the second teaching of the Buddha. When Buddha gave teaching in Rajagriha, this farm is empty, empty is farm, this kind of teaching. And he found the Buddha was born around the 1st century, 5th century, right? BC, before, the era. So after 400 years, that master called Nagarjuna, he found the second teaching of the Buddha and he wrote a commentary on that. And then he explained more this dependent origination. And then there are like a long list of the masters who criticize to Yogachara school. Okay, the mental projection, things are mental, things are in the mind, external things are not real, but the mind is real, right, for Yogachara school. So there they started arguing for those, what about mind? Mind is real, mind is not a mental projection. And they started asking questions, what about mind? Okay, the color is a mental projection, the taste is a mental projection, but what about the mind, right? So they developed this Madhyamika, the second school of the Mahayana. So the Yogachara and the Madhyamika school, these are still within the Mahayana. Maybe I can give you a list of some great masters. The 2nd century, Nagarjuna wrote a text and explained the second teaching of the Buddha. And then after that, Aryadeva, he wrote a text which called 400 verses. And again he explained about the Nagarjuna. That was 3rd century. And then around 4th century, there was again great master called Buddhapalita. He established little bit different school, that is Prasangika school, and still they refers to the Nagarjuna and the second teaching of the Buddha. So then after Buddhapalita, there was a great master called Bhava Viveka. So he argued with Buddhapalita. Okay, Buddhapalita, whatever Buddhapalita explained, the view of the Nagarjuna and the second teaching of the Buddha, that all are wrong. That Buddha's teaching and Nagarjuna's teaching should not be like this. So he established another school called Swatrendika Madhyamika. And then around 6th century, the Chandrakirti, the famous master, he was one of the last Mahayana master, and he argued with Bhava Viveka and established, cleared the view of the Buddhapalita. So there, that Mahayana or the Madhyamaka school fully developed in India. And then when Tibetan king Sonsen Gampo sent his student to India, and then Sambhota, and then many Tibetans came to India and they learned Sanskrit, and then they started translating those texts in Sanskrit into Tibetan for 1,000 years, since 6th century. So that time, that Mahayana or this school was so famous, popular in India. So whatever they're available in Tibetan now, mainly because of those masters and because of this king sent those students to India, and then they started translating those teachings. So because of that connection, whatever now there in Tibet, it is called Mahayana Buddhism. So mainly that idea, dependent origination or emptiness. So the thing is, okay, to solve your problem or to make yourself happy, you must have a view, right? So when you have a view, okay, this is beautiful, and then maybe you can have a goosebump, maybe you can cry, or like you see the food is so nice, and then you can have a water in your mouth. So the view is important, what kind of feeling or what kind of behavior you have. The view is important. Once you establish the view, and then action will follow, right? So once you establish the dependent origination or emptiness view, you can have a action behavior which is compassion, which is loving kindness, which is bodhicitta, So you don't need to do much. Your job is to establish the view. So anyway, I will stop this here, and then I will go to next point, which I feel important. So see, there are lots of teachings and lots of commentaries, and even commentaries. There are 230 something volumes, and then the sutras, Buddha's teachings are like 300 volumes. So how we can summarize, how we can simplify all of these things? And then the tradition of Buddhist practice, they are three pitaka, the three basket it's called in English. So what these all teachings are, for what? So how we can simplify and practice all of these things? And then mainly they found that any of this teaching, maybe it is talking about the morality, disciplines. Maybe these teachings talking about the concentration, like samadhi or meditation. Maybe one of these teachings are talking about the wisdom. So they divided into three. They found, even you talk like whole day, maybe you are talking about morality, maybe you are talking about the meditation, samadhi, maybe you are talking about the wisdom, right? So then they divided into three. So all teachings which contain the morality is called Vinaya Pitaka. So that is one thing. And then second one is the teachings or the works or the text which is containing the concentration, samadhi, that is called Dodeten. So Sutra Pitaka. Yeah. And the third one, the teachings which contain the wisdom, is called Abhidhamma Pitaka. Yeah. So whatever you study or whatever you read, or even you don't read, if you can practice these three, that's good enough, So having a wisdom is important, understanding the true nature of the life or true nature of the existence is important. So the knowing, understanding, so that is called wisdom, pranja, wisdom, yeah. But having a wisdom, it's important to have a concentration, focused mind. If you cannot focus, then you don't understand. Even homework, even whatever, you read a book, if you have no concentration, you cannot understand the meaning, right? For having a concentration, discipline, the morality is important. So, for example, let's say a student who is doing homework, if he or she is sleeping on time, eating on time, coming to home on time, this is morality. More or less, he or she has less obstacles, and then she can focus and study, read. And then once she focused, and then she can understand what is this, what is that, Once you know, your problem is already solved, right? You don't need to think like how I can solve a problem. Your job is to know, right? So that's all. Once you know the real meaning of life or the real meaning of the existence, and you have no problem, your mind is always calm and peaceful. So these three, morality, concentration, and wisdom, practiced in full schools. But the discipline is more or less little bit different, and then concentration, because of disciplines are different, concentration level is different, and then wisdom is also different. If you know the impermanent, let's say, or selflessness, you can reduce some of your stress or some of your problems emotionally, mentally, when you know the selflessness, when you know self is not real, maybe you can be more friend with people, maybe you can be more open-minded always, because you don't really take things seriously, So what is your problem, right? Problem is we are always so much serious about things we cannot share, we cannot tell, and we have to hide many things. These are problems, right, in our life. Yeah, we have ego and hatred, jealous. So when you understand self is not real, and that can help you to reduce those emotions, I believe, very much. But those practitioners discovered that your problem is not only that the active emotions, you have a habit in your mind, and when cause and conditions come together, that habit, seat in your mind is ready to produce another negative emotion. For that, maybe you need to practice non-duality, thinking about, okay, I am making it, I am projecting it. Or more, they are like different understanding of the obstacles. So maybe you have more strong habituations in your mind. To remove that habituation, you have to practice more dependent origination, like big is not big always, small is not small always, like, you understand. So you have to train your mind in these ways, and then even the seeds to produce negative emotions from your mind will be removed by practicing this. So because of that wisdom level, there are different levels of morality, different levels of discipline, but more or less you will be feeling differently, and like how to say, stress is not there, and something like that. Yeah. Now almost I'm reaching to the conclusion. So sometimes conclusion take more time, but sometimes conclusion will be very short. So if you feel a little bit tired, boring, so I'm flexible I can make it short in in 2 minutes I can conclude, but so there are few more important things to discuss. Then there are two types of teachings of the Buddha. The first one is provisional teaching, and then definitive teaching. To understand this one is important when you study about the Buddha Dharma or Buddhist or any, because Buddha can say anything, or not Buddha, like teachers can say anything. But sometimes he doesn't mean it. So you have to know that. If you don't know, then again you make a mistake, right? Professional teaching is like somebody can tell you that I hate you, I hate you, right? Sometimes he mean like I like you, right? But you occasionally you have to check him, or her, when he or she say I hate you. You can see that it means he likes me, right? But directly he is saying that I hate you. These kind of teachings are there. So you must know that. For that you have to read a little bit more and study. And once you know that, and then you will be more happy to practice and to read. Then of course definitive teaching. Is that when he is very much serious about his teachings. So for example, Buddha, there was a king, and he was kind of dictator, and then his father was not agree with him about things that what he wanted to do, and then he put his father into jail. But after some time he felt, this is not right thing to do, and then he sent his ministers to release his father from the jail, but he was too late. His father already passed in the jail, and then he felt so bad, and then he saw Buddha. He met Buddha, and then Buddha knew that he is not so bad guy. If he teach him, he will learn and he will understand things, and then he will be better. But if he tell him, oh, you should not kill your father, said, directly, then also Buddha knew that he will have a heart attack and then die suddenly. So Buddha said, it's fine, you should kill father. So that is professional teaching. He knew, if I say, okay, you killed father, but there is a but. You practice or you learn, and then that's fine. Father, you should kill father. But the definitive teaching is, indirect teaching is, you should kill your ego. So that is a definitive teaching. When Buddha says something which is not acceptable, or whoever the teachers, or the important thing is you give a second thought. What really does mean? So maybe you will find a very beautiful meaning from that, right? So when you read about Buddha's teaching or Buddhism, sometimes you see this is something which I cannot accept. But that moment you can think, okay, is there any definitive teaching behind this? So this is very important in Buddhist tradition. I think in other tradition also, like parents, they say so many things, right? And when you know that, you have no problem. And if you don't know that, then sometimes domestic violence. See, in Tibet, parents beat kids a lot. But we didn't know that was a domestic violence. We thought it is they take care of us. They want us to study. They want so they beat, but I was fine. But nowadays parents beat kids. Most of time, who don't like their baby? Some people maybe don't like, but most of them like. And then because of the human right, promotion and all of these things, small kids have so many informations. Okay, if your parents beat you, that means you have a problem, right? You call. So misunderstanding, and they don't know what is provisional kind of advice and what is definitive advice or teachings from parents. So there are lots of misunderstanding in the society because of you really don't know what they want to teach you, right? So in any case, knowing the direct meaning and indirect meaning is always give you a chance to give a second thought. So this is important, I feel. So that is there in again these four traditions. So maybe Vaibhashika says, oh, this is definitive teaching, and I don't practice emptiness, because Buddha was teaching emptiness. So that is professional teaching. For them, it is not so important. But those people who practice emptiness, they say, okay, that the first teaching of the Buddha is professional teaching. So we practice this one. So, but they find their own way to be freed from negative emotions. So that's fine. You don't need to practice all teachings. You can practice one and be happy. Okay, so the last point here, I will talk about the two truth, and then Four Noble Truth a little bit, and then three jewels, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. it's important to understand these three together, because true truth, Four Noble Truth, and Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, these are related to each other. The Asanga is a Yogacara master, and he received teachings from Acharya. So this is, again, there is a long story, but there is a called Abhisamaya Alankara. It is more on Pranjaparamita teachings. But they said, first you understand true truth, then you understand Four Noble Truth, then you really know who is Buddha and who is Dharma and who is Sangha, right? So the true truth, the conventional truth and the ultimate truth. Again, this in four schools they have slightly different kind of definitions for the conventional truth and the ultimate truth, but more or less they have their own kind of way to practice these two. I practiced more Madhyamika tradition, Mahayana. Maybe I can, relate to that, and then other things you can, maybe you already know. So let's say true truth. You can have a truth, conventional truth. The conventional truth is you really feel that you are here, right? You are here, like literally you are here. So that is conventional truth. The sugar is sweet, chili is spicy, but in Nelson I didn't find spicy chili. That is conventional truth. Yeah, in India, chili is very spicy. So that is conventional truth. According to human beings, we all say chili is spicy, but other, like maybe other living beings, we don't know. But according to the human beings, chili is spicy, and sugar is sweet. Yeah, that is conventional truth. But ultimately, it not necessary chili, must be spicy always for you. Yeah. The good example is when COVID came, many people lost taste. You understand? So that time, the sugar was not sweet and chili was not spicy. That means, that the spicy or the sweetness is not really there on the sugar, or it is related to something else. So what we do, what we decide, what we act according to the sweet. We cannot act, we cannot talk, we cannot think beyond the sweetness. Chili is, sugar is always sweet. So because of that we make mistakes, because we act as ultimate truth, but it is not really ultimate truth, right? So we decide according to the conventional truth. Conventionally, whatever there, we decide, and then we develop all of these uncomfortable feelings, right? So that the reality is not always what you feel. It's something else. We don't know, but there is there's something, like more than the sweetness on sugar. Yeah. So to develop this understanding is always important. Then Four Noble Truths, that is first teaching of the Buddha. But here, okay. First, he said, suffering, like suffering or dukkha. So we are we have a life which is always having unsatisfied kind of feeling. Then he found this feeling is coming from where? This feeling is coming from the avidya, which means ignorance. When you really don't know, suddenly you can have a kind of unsatisfied feeling. So when you go into the room and there is no light, and you always have a doubt, or you are not comfortable basically. So because of you don't know what is there in the room, because there is no light, right? So the darkness of the mind is called ignorance. So basically you are not knowing things as it is, right? And then what we have to do, we have to know the truth, we have to know the reality, and because of knowing the reality, you can on the light, you see the truth, and then your doubt is gone, your darkness of the mind is gone, and everything will be gone. That is called cessation, like seeing or seeing the things, light on, that is a path, that is equal to knowing the truth and all of these things. And then you have a calm mind. That calmness is called the cessation. Yeah. I'm trying to make it very simple. Maybe this is too simple for some people, but okay. So then the most important thing is Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, right? So you if you follow, if you think you are Buddhist or you are practicing Buddhism, then the most important thing is you can become Buddha. Means you can really have the complete awareness which is free from all kind of problems. So that is the Buddha. And the way to go that is the Dharma, right? Whatever collections you have, maybe you have a book, maybe you have a good friend, maybe you have a teacher, maybe you have a good parent, and whoever they are helping you to do that, is the collection is called Sangha, basically. So Sangha doesn't mean the monks and nuns, or Sangha doesn't mean like nothing else. Just the good collection, the virtues, whatever you have. Maybe you have a little bit of compassion, kindness. All these are the Sanghas. And then because of having this good mental qualities, and you have more chance to think on the truth, and then your realization can develop more and more. So then one day you can reduce your anger, you can reduce your attachment, and you have no hatred, and you become completely pure and happy. That is Buddha, right? So, but if somebody is very good, you respect, and you can also take him or her as a teacher. That is also good. But finally, you have to develop this quality in you only. You know, sometimes in Western countries, the teachers, I'm not criticizing, but they try to make them to become Tibetan, you know, rather than becoming Buddha. And Dzongsa Chinsa Rinpoche said, I like it because becoming a Tibetan Buddhist is not possible in this lifetime, you know, because you are not Tibetan right now. But becoming Buddha is very much possible. Even you think you are not Buddhist, if you know the reality, and if you know, just because of your power of your wisdom, and reduce all this kind of nonsense feelings, jealous, doesn't make sense, and hatred. If you can harm others, maybe it's good for you, and you think it's good. But when you have a hatred, your mind is not healthy, and because of your mind is not healthy, you don't feel good, and then physically you don't feel good, and it is just harmful for you. It's nonsense, right? So because of your power of your wisdom, if you can remove all of these negative emotions in you and become completely happy, that's all Buddha. You know, Buddha means the one who is having no negative emotions and understand the reality, the truth. That's Buddha. He or she is Buddha. So I believe many of you can become Buddha soon. Hope so. And I think we have more time, and I don't know if you have questions. I'm more happy to answer your questions than just talking, you know. I don't like to listen more than 1 hour. So what do you think? Can we have answer question and then, you know, more relax? Huh? Okay.
Well, mental projection.
Mm-hmm.
It's mental projection, our human reactive mind
Mm-hmm.
to always get to mental projection. And is mental projection a result of taking conventional truth as the only truth?
Mm-hmm.
Can you have mental projections which are based on ultimate truth?
Mental projection on the ultimate truth. Can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, so it's more than one question. The first is mental projection, the result of the human reactive mind. We are born quite with a reactive mind.
Mm-hmm.
And is it the result of taking conventional truth as the only truth? And the third is it possible to have mental projections based on ultimate truth?
First of all, ultimate truth means the things, whatever, you know, like whatever it is. So that is ultimate truth, right? So mental projection cannot be ultimate truth, because it is not reality, right? So the ultimate truth means the reality. So when you make something, it cannot be real. Yeah. So today you feel good, the food is good. Tomorrow you feel the same food is not good. So the food can be the one, but when you think that this is not good, that is not there. You know, like the bad food is not there at all. So that's why it cannot be the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth means different name of the reality. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm not sure what the term mental projection means.
Mm-hmm.
So you can.
Okay. Your mind is here, yeah, somewhere inside, and you think the project means like, you know, when you project something on the wall, yeah, in light, and then there is a circle, maybe something that is project, right? So you just think it is real, yeah, but actually it is not real. So that is called mental projection. So you just think it is real. Yeah. For example, I say you are very nice. Yeah. You can get angry by, you know, like this, because of your mood sometimes. But if you say you are very bad, you know, I tell you you are very bad. If you are feeling extremely happy and, you know, like having a good day, you even don't feel this is a bad thing, right? So that means there's something going on in your mind, nothing to do with whatever I say. So that is called, you know, like mental projection. Feeling good, feeling not good. So all of these things.
Can be like a result of emotions. It can be also a result of knowledge instead of wisdom.
Yep.
That's all interpreting something based on a cultural, habitual pattern of thinking, and then projecting some thought based on that. But if you take it deeper, more consideration, your mental projection reaction would be different.
Yes.
But if I'm not real, how can I have anything?
Sir, what did you say? If it's not real?
If I'm not real, that's the number one thing. Then talking about an unreal person
Yeah.
having a mental projection doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
It's a
to
good
me.
question. Actually, I was going to ask the two. Can you explain more about this thing? You know, what do you mean by, you know, but I'm not real? Can you explain it more? What
We have the topic here, philosophy. Sometimes philosophy is, without philosophy, practice is difficult, but sometimes philosophy is more painful, you know. I like philosophy, but when we talk about philosophy, we are talking about something that sometimes we are talking about something that we even don't think about, you know, you understand. So when I say we are not real, in general, you have a feeling, I am here, right? So when you say you are here, what do you really mean? I, you know, like I, you call I to what? Yeah. You just keep thinking, you know, just when I say I, what really I mean, you know? Yeah. Where is this I? You search from your head and everywhere, you never find an essence you can call, okay, see, I here, you know, like this kind of, you never find. But in general, we say, I'm here, why you tell me this, you know? So that moment it seems that I'm real, yeah. You cannot tell me bad things, you have to tell me good things, yeah. You cannot beat me, you have to take care of me. So it seems real, but you sit there alone, or you know, like you just think about yourself and try to find where this I, you know, the speech is not I, the feeling is not I, the body, right side, left side, down, anywhere, back side, nothing is I. but still it is there, you know. It is so interesting to think about, right? I am not real means this. I am not real as I think. Yeah.
And confronting as well.
Huh?
It's confronting as well. It makes you feel uncomfortable.
Is
Or
it-
me.
That sometimes uncomfortable feelings are good, you know, like you go to the gym and you feel very painful, and then you can get, you know, get muscles, right? So without pain, there is nothing to gain, you know. Like, yeah.
Is it fair to say that the conventional I is what's responsible for our mental projections?
Sorry.
Is it correct to say that it's the conventional I that does exist, like I'm sitting, I'm standing, I'm listening? So is it fair to say that the conventional I is the I that's responsible for our mental projections?
Yeah, this is important to discuss, and I'm happy to discuss about this more. Can I have water now? Because this schools developed from this discussion. What is I? You know, then Vaibhashika and Swatrantika, the first two schools, they say the 5 aggregates, you know, form, feelings, and then perception, consciousness, and then willing. Or these are I. You know, when I say I, and this form is I. When you say form, you have 5 senses, and the object of 5 senses, and then organ of these 5 senses. These all are form. Yeah. You see something when you are really interested in color and shape. Your eye, you know, this I, me, is there in the shape and in the color. But when you are so much interested in listening music, this color eye and the shape eye is nothing, you know. Like you are completely gone to the ear consciousness, this sound, right? And then like touching, maybe you are touching very, you know, smooth or whatever, warm, or if you are in South India, the cold is very good to touch, right? So that moment, again, this music and color, these things are nothing. You are somewhere they touching, right? You I. Yeah? So they say the I is there in this form, right? But Yogacara schools say no. Alaya is I. Yeah? The example, you know, like the main point of I is there is a mind which takes all the footprint of good things and bad things. If you do good, this mind can have a kind of a footprint. It is called bija. So that mind is I, they say. But Madhyamaka school have a problem with that. They say no. It's dependently arising. Yeah. So that dependently arising, and you have a name there. What is your name?
Leo.
Leo. So Leo, you know, like, why he is not Leo? Yeah. Why you are Leo? Yeah, Madhyamika say the Leo, like, almost a name. There is nothing but just name. Yeah. Yeah. So the understanding of self, the level of understanding of the self is completely different from different schools. So that is the reason why there are many different schools. Yeah. So according to your identification of the self, you can have different wisdom for yourself, and to practice that wisdom, and then you will reach to the liberation, you know, your liberation. You don't need to reach to my liberation, you reach your liberation. Yeah.
So they're just schools they're ways to train your mind to think so that you can reach liberalisation, like emptiness and then non-duality,
Uh-huh.
and then the sum of the aggregates, and then what was the other one? The mind exists. They're like 4 different schools or models or law. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Are they just an intellectual way of thinking about it?
Mhm. Can you repeat again? Because I make sure that I understand.
Okay, so you've said there's emptiness,
Uh-huh.
one school of thought,
Mhm.
then the other one is non-duality,
Mhm.
and the other one is sum of the five aggregates,
Uh-huh.
and then what was the other one? I am my mind,
Uh-huh.
your mind, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
So they're just 4 different ways to analyse, or
No,
is any one of those the ultimate truth?
you can practice any of this. I think you will reach somewhere where you will be completely happy. So that's enough. Even you don't think about emptiness, that is totally fine. But when you do meditation, first of all, you supposed to feel that form, aggregate. You know, like you feel the earth, you feel the water, you feel the wind, you feel the heat, and you feel the consciousness. And then somehow you will feel the space. You will not even feel the earth. You know. There you will feel so light, so pure, so calm, and so active. No negative emotion, but almost no positive emotions. So that is emptiness, you know, like you are active, calm, but still you are not moved by the pleasures and not moved by the suffering. So that, you know, that is a part of practicing the emptiness. So if you reach there, and then, you know, this is liberation.
Liberation or revitalization.
What?
Revitalization.
Revitalization.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
That's helped.
Thank you.
But I'm reading a book that's been recommended
Yeah.
to me.
I was thinking that if I can say something that which somebody can think a little bit and, you know, this makes sense. That is the purpose of coming here today. So I'm very much happy.
Yeah, I've been reading a book that's been recommended called Contemplating Reality, and it goes through all of those.
Uh-huh.
And I've been reading it like I would read a textbook, thinking that one must be the same as the next, you know, that it's a but they're actually 4 different ways about thinking about reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But they're not interconnected, are they?
Yeah, sure. So again, the important is without thinking about little bit about impermanent.
Yeah.
Impermanent is not a negative thing, you know. Like impermanent, if you have a problem, you can think about impermanent. You know, if you are so much stressful, if you can think about impermanent, okay, the stress comes and goes, you know, depression comes and goes, you become positive, right? Many people misunderstand. Impermanent means, you know, like life is impermanent, this is impermanent. So you can think about impermanent. If you arrogant is increasing, you know, you can again think about impermanence as reduce, right? So impermanent has many kind of how to say advantage to make you more balanced, right? And then again, in our day-to-day life, the impermanent, you know, like thinking about last moment, you know, again, it's a beautiful thing. When you meet somebody and somebody is leaving today and you are not going to meet again, you know, like you can have a forgiveness, you can have a understand, you can have a care, you can have a love, you know. So beautiful to think of the last moment, right? So again, the emptiness is like, you know, most of the time we are not happy, we have a jealous, we have anger, we have you know, like hatred, because we think this is going to be the long last kind of, you know. these people are going to irritate me like for a long time, right? So then you develop this negative emotions, and then you always feel very bad, right? So we really don't know. We can come back tomorrow again here, or we can go to back to home. Really, we really don't know. This is not a negative thing. This is reality, right? So thinking about the reality is always good. It always make you positive, open-minded, more relaxed. So then slowly, I think you will improve all other practices. Yeah. Any other question?
So what I understood now that you were saying, but I'm not right in response to his question, was that the teachings from the different schools, you can apply them in your life. At different times you look at that one or you look at that one, whatever helps at the time. To that extent it's good to study all of them as well.
Yes.
So then you...
Okay. That's what I'm thinking to make a conclusion there after question. But as you asked, then I can say something here also. Okay, the first two schools, they talk about more impermanent and selflessness, right? So if you can be a little bit selfless in your home, in your wherever you are living in your society, let's say you are living with 5 people. I'm talking about selflessness, how to practice in day-to-day life. If you are so selfish, you always talk about what you need, what those 4 other people have to do for you. Yeah. It does not matter, like maybe dinner, maybe whatever you try to get for yourself always. After a few days, those 4 people will not like you. If you can little bit selfless, like care about these 4 people a little bit, they all will like you. And then you will find happy, there, right? So that's what we can do, You don't say I, mine. Why you sit on my chair? Yeah. If you don't say that, even you don't have any problem that anybody can sit on your chair, like only one chair. That is also going to make your life more happier, more easier. So other things you can apply, right, for yourself. So that is how we practice selflessness in our day-to-day life. Then impermanent, right? People maybe use your bathroom. Yeah. You think, okay, we live only 7 days. It's okay even they use 7 days. After that they will not use, right? So more or less you are having a sense of impermanent, right? You are not thinking this is permanently they are going to use my bathroom, right? It's for a few days, yeah? So the Buddhist impermanent is more 100,000 times bigger than this, but if you think, okay, this is not permanently they will use, this is just temporarily they use, you feel more happy, more light, I am 100% sure. So this is how we practice this first school idea in our day-to-day life. So if you practice small things, you can do it. If you always think like big picture, it's difficult, right? Then non-duality, if you see he is very painful, you just ask yourself, maybe I see him, or maybe because of my mood, or maybe because of the situation, he is not really that much bad. Yeah, that is more or less non-duality. Like you are thinking about, you are making it, you are projecting it, or he is like this all the time, right? So you understand. Sometimes you say he is very bad. You just make something there for sure, because if you never see him, then how he can be bad, right? So okay, he is bad, but you also make a kind of donation for that to make him bad, right? So you never supposed to forget when you see painful people. Okay, because of me, somehow, even you can ask a question. Okay, I'm making this a little bit, or he or she is like very very painful. So then maybe you will find the answer and you can feel more good. Yeah. Then dependent origination or the emptiness is also same. This is big because of that small one, and this is small because of this big house or chair. So okay, again, comparison. You are not saying, oh, this is bad independently or itself bad. You are just comparing. You are more open-minded. You have like, okay, because of that he is like this, because of that she is like this. So if you can think in this way, more or less you are practicing emptiness, then you can go higher level. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes.
One more question.
Yes.
Does Buddhism, becoming Buddha, becoming enlightened, does that allow for you to at times accept that I might be wrong? Are you, if you reach that state, any allowance for self-doubt, the thought that I could be mistaken, I could be wrong?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Well, I think it's important myself to always have that reservation that my beliefs, my thoughts, my opinions, I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Does if Buddhism, or Buddha is sort of belief, does that allow for questioning whether you're right or wrong ever again?
Study Buddhism is study about yourself, like nothing to do with others. You have to study yourself, right? So if you think I am wrong or I can be wrong, it is a good thing, because many problems come from that I am right, I am the best, right? So of course there is no question that Buddhism allows or not allows, because Buddha himself studied himself and he found that he is not the one who he used to think about. So in this case, of course, you can you can think in any ways, and Buddhism can allow everything. Did I answer your question?
I guess I find it difficult to understand how, having reached this perfect state,
Mm-hmm.
one could go on entertaining doubts, questioning
Mm-hmm.
one's beliefs.
Are you finding difficult to reach that state?
To become a Buddha, he means. I think he was saying it's difficult for him to think that once you're Buddha, you still have doubt. But once you're Buddha, you don't have doubt, do you?
Okay. If you become Buddha, and you can still have doubt.
Can I ask a personal question? Do you have doubts?
Yes, I have doubt. Yes. I have doubt for many things, like can I go back to India? or not. It's a doubt because I'm not sure what will happen. Right? But for me, it is fine. It is not a negative. It is not a good thing, but it is just naturally I can have. When you say doubt, what is a doubt, right? So when you are not clear about something, you cannot say 100% sure. So that kind of, feeling we call doubt, right? So that I have. I think everybody. But Buddha, if you are talking about the state of the Buddha, that kind of person can have a doubt. I don't think so. Because in a way, time and the space, philosophically, same. When you have no darkness of the mind, no difficulties in your mind, you have no time and you have no space, but you are completely free. So when you have no time, future, past, present, same. So when we have doubt, we have a time. In this time, I'm here. In future, I don't know. So doubt, can arise in this situation. But when you become completely happy and clear, you have no time. So, for example, if you feel so happy with somebody, and 1 hour is just a moment, you don't feel it. Have coffee, I have to go, because you feel so happy. So that time you don't feel the space, you don't feel the time. But if you are not happy with somebody, 1 hour is too long. You check time again and again. Still 20 minutes left. So it's time and space. It depends on your mood, on your feeling. So Buddha has no this kind of heavy feelings, and he feel like 1,000 years a moment, right? So in this case, Buddha cannot have doubt. I have no this experience, but the small experience I don't have this big experience, but philosophically I can say that. Yeah. Okay. And any question now?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
There is some teachings about that the Buddha gave about, or I don't know if it was a Buddha, but there's some Buddhist teachings about preventing desire that is, I think possibly in the Theravadan schools perhaps, that the body is, to look at the body is disgusting, full of pus and phlegm and this very negative, and to help stop desire. But later on, would the Buddha have given different teachings around emptiness and the body to prevent desire? And I wondered if you could explain that and how we can reconcile those, or to make sense of both of those different perspectives around the body.
Sometimes we are so much arrogant, we forget, we think we are completely clean, or we forget some fact, and we forget that we need to go to bathroom, So because of that kind of ego, we make lots of mistakes many times, right? So in this case, any truth, if you know it, it's good for you. Yeah. So in this case, if you think about your body is not clean and this and that, it has a power to reduce some of your negative emotions. So that's why Buddha used to say that. So Buddha's teaching is individual kind of teaching, not a public talk. Buddha was traveling, and then every day there's a Dhammapada called there are 27 chapters. So that Dhammapada is a collection of Buddha's conversation with individual people. So he met the lady who is taking water. According to her situation, Buddha says something. Maybe it's good to tell her that you are so beautiful, because she was suffering from criticism of other people, and then if he tells her something good about her body or something, and then she can be encouraged. But there are guys who are completely arrogant, and then for them Buddha says like, why you are so much arrogant? This you see in the inside they are full of like dust, right? So and then suddenly they realize the truth nature of their body and their existence. So Buddha gives different these teachings, but thinking about the pureness of your body is also a practice. And tantric practice, we visualize. Sometimes we have again a problem that always a problem. Your body is a problem. You gain weight is a problem. You lose weight is a problem. So and you just think that everything is fine. Like my body is pure and light. And suddenly you can have a kind of realization, and you feel light, and you can wake up. So there are lots of process to do that, but I believe that is a good thing to do, to try. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know whether most Western people would feel happier with that latter approach than the other approach, but I certainly find that approach, the latter approach, much more just more joyful and to see others in that way too, not just myself. I have to nobody else, but but we all have Buddha nature.
Yeah. So I talked about these two types of teachings. So you keep reading, and maybe you will find a teaching which is exactly for you, and then you just one word is enough to get liberation. But if you don't know these two types of teachings, and if you think that I have to practice all things whatever Buddha said, and then this is a misunderstanding. So it's very much depend on your capacity, your situation, and your level, and you just keep reading. One day you find, okay, this is the one what I need. So then that will help you a lot. Not only like emptiness is the best, I don't say, because I don't know what you really need, right? So just keep listening and keep contemplating is also important. When somebody say it, okay, you listen and then you think, okay, it does make sense for me or not. So that is also important. So I think you will find for sure. Maybe you already have that kind of teachings. Yeah.
Is it best to try to find a teacher that's like a Buddha, that can give you direct teachings in that way, that are specifically for you, like a doctor giving a patient medicine?
Yeah.
That knows you so well that they know exactly how to help you.
I studied and practiced a long time the tradition of Tsokapa. So he says you try to find a teacher, and then just try to find and check for 12 years. You just don't decide like oh, he talked very nice and I want to be his disciple. He said don't do that. You just keep searching for 12 years. So I think it's a good idea to search, and I'm sure there are many, but maybe nowadays visa is a problem, right? Okay. Any question now? I think That's all. Yeah. So we next 10th, right? 10th and 17th, I will come back here and we will discuss about other topics. So thank you very much. I, from my heart, may you can practice the Dharma, which is like the river, and maybe you will take 1 cup of water from the river, maybe you will take one bucket of the water, so it's really depend on your capacity and your willingness to do, and there are lots of things to learn from this tradition. And also, even you don't think you are a Buddhist, or just learning this wisdom is helpful. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.